Hello, my name is Jason Ankin and this is my vlog channel. Today's video I'm going to talk a little bit about a subject that keeps coming up in my life, and that is alcohol consumption. Now, I'm actually a non-drinker. I don't actually drink alcohol at all, and I basically refuse to drink alcohol. I have no desire to drink alcohol whatsoever. This is something that I haven't consumed alcohol for the last 2 years. I think it was Boxing Day 2014, so it's February now. So I haven't drunk a single drop of alcohol in just over 2 years and 2 months. And a lot of my friends do drink alcohol. I'm pretty much one of the only ones out of my group of friends that doesn't actually consume alcohol, which makes it a little weird. At least from their perspective anyway. From my perspective, drinking alcohol is very weird itself. So yeah, throughout my 20s really, I'm 29 now, so throughout my 20s I've been on and off alcohol. I've actually stopped, I think 2 times previous to this current time. First time was about a year, the second time was about 18 months, and then this time now is the longest. And I'm pretty convinced that I probably won't drink again ever in my life, because I have no desire to drink whatsoever. It's almost like that part of me has completely burnt itself out. I no longer have any desire whatsoever to consume alcohol. And it has a lot to do with the fact that I just think alcohol consumption is quite irrational. It doesn't actually make a lot of sense to drink alcohol. It did at the time when I was younger. Like I started when I was in my early teens, pretty early, probably about 14 years old. Probably just exactly the same as everybody else did. You know, you probably just got some alcohol somewhere, maybe you find some in your mother's cupboard or whatever. And my first experience with alcohol was my mate, one of my friends. One of my friends basically acquired a bottle of vodka, and it was about three quarters full. And he stayed at my house, and basically we just got drunk in my bedroom. And that was the first time I ever got drunk. And pretty much after that there, I would drink more regularly, more or less every weekend or whatever, every weekend we could get it. And this is actually one of the reasons why I realised that probably drinking alcohol is not really a good idea, is because the underlying motive behind drinking alcohol, you know, I always ask this to people that drink alcohol, you know, when was the first time that you actually got drunk? And 99 times out of 100 they will always tell me that they acquired alcohol somehow. Their friends got it, either they got like an older brother or an older sister to get it for them, or they maybe stole some from their house, and they basically hid somewhere with their friends and basically got drunk. And what that tells you fundamentally is that most people, in fact everybody, always says exactly the same experiences. We got some alcohol, me and my friends went and took it somewhere else and just got drunk together. So it tells you a lot about the motivation behind alcohol consumption. And the motivation is purely, in my opinion, it's purely extrinsic. Now, what I mean by that is, extrinsic is outside of you. It's you're actually consuming alcohol because of things that are happening outside of you. You want to get drunk with your friends, you want to get drunk at a party, you want to get drunk at a social occasion outward. So it's outwardly motivated. Whereas I never hear anybody saying that, yeah, I acquired alcohol by myself, I went to the car, bought it, went home by myself, sat in the room by myself and got drunk. No one ever says that, because if they did do that, if that was the way that they got drunk, the first time they ever got drunk, then it would indicate that it's intrinsically motivated. They had an internal desire to drink, so they went out of their way to acquire alcohol and then consume it by themselves. But like I said, 99 times out of 100, no one ever says that. It's always extrinsically motivated. And it shows that underlying that whole process that people are being driven externally. They're not actually, there's not an internal desire to actually consume alcohol. It's always consuming alcohol with your friends or in a party or in a night out or whatever special occasion. It's never internally or intrinsically motivated. Now obviously when people over time become more familiar with consuming alcohol, then eventually people start to, will have it. They'll maybe have a couple of glasses of wine, I don't know, with their dinner at the end of the night, and they might be by themselves, and they do that to take the edge off, to help them relax and whatnot. So then the motivation does switch to being more intrinsic. But I'm more thinking about the type of behaviors that I was getting involved in when it was consuming alcohol. I never drank alcohol for pleasure. I never drank it at the end of the day. I never really enjoyed drinking a beer by myself. It was always about going out the weekend and getting drunk with my friends. And I sort of realized this is like, the only reason I'm drinking is because I'm motivated by what's going on outside of me. Like my friends have got a party on, or it's Saturday, or whatever. It was never actually me going, I really want to consume alcohol because I enjoy it. It was all because of the occasion. So I realized that was a problem for me. Now, even though that I haven't been consuming alcohol for the last 2 years, one of the strange things that people keep saying to me is, you have an amazing amount of willpower. I don't know how you do it. I don't know how you could spend such a long amount of time off alcohol. People think I've got a lot of willpower to basically not be able to drink. Now that would be true if I really, really, really wanted to actually consume alcohol. I actually don't. I literally do not want to drink. I don't want to drink. All that motivation has gone. I'm no longer driven to drink alcohol because I'm not as extrinsically motivated in my life. I'm more internally motivated. I'm more focusing on my own goals, things like my degree, my job, my business, my training, my meditation training, all of this type of stuff. These are all internally driven things, so I'm less distracted by these external things. And this is why, like, it's really bizarre. It's a contradiction, and I always tell this to my friends who tell me you've got an amazing amount of willpower because you don't drink. I just explain to them what I used to do when I drank alcohol. Now this is the process. What I used to do on a typical Saturday night, I would get ready, get a shower, get dressed up. I would go to the car. I would find a place where to go, like a friend's house or something like that, to drink the alcohol. When I was drinking alcohol, that requires a lot of effort to actually consume it. I have to spend money to actually buy the alcohol. And then once I'm drinking copious amounts of alcohol, I'm constantly going back and forth to the toilet. Then when I actually get drunk, we would normally go to a pub or a club or something like that. We would buy more alcohol, so we're spending more money. Again, going back and forth to the toilet more. You make a fool of yourself. You potentially get yourself injured. You potentially, you could even, like in certain situations when I was drunk, I could put my life in risk. Then you wake up the next day and you've got a hangover. You've memory loss. you can't eat properly, you can't do anything functionally, you can't do anything normally. Your body's just basically screwed. And that's what I had to do on a Saturday night or a Friday night. Now that I don't drink, I don't have to do any of that. I actually avoid that whole process. I completely eliminate that whole process from my life. And therefore I'm actually putting less effort into a Saturday night. I still go out with my friends on the weekends, but it takes me just the same amount of time to get ready. I don't have to buy a carrot, I don't waste a lot of money, I don't make a fool out of myself. I wake up the next day hangover free. I've got more money in my wallet. I've still got money from the night before. I barely even spend £10-15 while I'm out. I can meditate, I can go out and train, I can do work, I can work on my business. So how do I have more willpower when I'm doing way less than those who are actually going out and consuming alcohol? This just shows the distortion in people's understanding. And they think that I've got willpower because I am able to use my willpower to overcome my impulse to drink alcohol, when in reality, not drinking alcohol, from my perspective, is much easier than consuming it. And this is one of the sort of distortions in people's thinking. It's become so habitual. People go out at the weekends and it's so habitual, it's so ingrained into their weekly routine that they don't even realise the amount of effort that they're actually putting in. Time, energy, money, health. They're going to ruin their health, memory loss, just throwing money down the drain, potentially getting injured, falling over and maybe busting your knee or something like that. I avoid all of that stuff. I completely avoid all of it. And it's sort of bizarre. So yeah, that's pretty much why I don't drink alcohol. I think it's irrational. It actually is irrational because, and this is one of the other questions that I will ask my friends. I always ask them to tell me, I always say, can you give me one single intrinsic benefit that you gain from the consumption of alcohol that you cannot get from something else? And categorically, every time that I ask this question, no one can actually think of a single intrinsic benefit, keyword being benefit, something that is beneficial to you. No one, not one person, can give me a single intrinsic benefit from the consumption of alcohol that you can only get from alcohol and nothing else. Every time people give me all sorts of answers, lowers your inhibitions, makes you feel more relaxed, it tastes good. These are all things that can be found elsewhere. You can lower your inhibitions through psychological training. You can, if you want to indulge, you can indulge in other drinks that are non-alcoholic, or you can eat foods that are or have no alcohol in them, or whatever. But there doesn't seem to be any intrinsic benefit whatsoever to consuming alcohol that I can think of, and neither can any of my friends. And this is just another one of the reasons why I don't drink alcohol, because it doesn't actually make sense to do it. So this is why one of the other things that I learnt very quickly, now I haven't drunk in about 2 years, 2 months consistently, but I did technically stop about 4 years ago, 2013, January 1st. I did actually decide to stop then, but I did drink maybe 2 or 3 times that year, and then the following year I think I drunk maybe 3 to 4 times, 2014. So I've only really drunk maybe 6 or 7 times over the last 4 years, and that was mainly in the first 2 years. And then over the last 2 years I've been very consistent. But when I initially quit in 2013, January 1st, I learned a really, really valuable lesson very, very quickly after drinking. And it took me maybe about 3 months to realise this. And it was the idea that there was nothing left. There was nothing left over from all of the partying that I had done previously. Now, 2013, I believe I was 25, 26. I was 25, so I had been drinking for about 11, 12 years. And I realised in 3 months after fully stopping for this final time, that there was nothing left over. There was no return on investment. Meaning I'd put so much time, effort, energy, money, etc. into going out and partying and drinking and all of that type of stuff. And within 3 months after stopping, I realised that there was nothing left from that. I had not actually gained a single thing from it whatsoever. Now, people could argue that maybe I met friends while I was out and stuff like that, and from maybe a social perspective, I've met people out, but they weren't calling me. They weren't ringing me up going, do you want to hang out? You know, I would bump into these people when I was out on a Friday or a Saturday night. It's not as if these were real friends. And at the end of the day, a friendship built on the foundation of alcohol consumption is not really a valid friendship. It's a very, very weak friendship. The second you stop drinking alcohol, your friendship stops. That's a very, very weak friendship. So you can see I could go on all day. There's no end to, there's no reason why people should consume alcohol. And I mean, it causes like £3.5 billion per year to the NHS. That's just directly to the NHS. Outside of the NHS, it probably costs like 7 billion a year in damages. There's no actual return. You're in our country, in the UK, there's no return on a sort of national scale. It's actually detrimental to the whole country. So you can see, and then obviously we know the health problems, liver damage, heart disease, high blood pressure, etc, etc, etc. And so there's some of the reasons why I don't drink alcohol. I don't see it as rational. First of all, what was the first thing? It's extrinsically motivated, not intrinsically motivated. It requires a ton of effort to actually go out and drink every weekend, as opposed to not putting that effort in. And you actually, by not drinking, you actually gain, which is a really bizarre thing. By not doing something, it actually benefits your life, it improves your life. Yes, there's not a single intrinsic benefit that you can think of for consuming alcohol that you can't get from something else. But yeah, that's pretty much, it's bad for your health, it's causing damages to the NHS. It's just, and this is why I can never go back. This is why no one can ever sort of influence me to sort of get back into consuming alcohol. Like, it happens all the time. They're like, people ask me do you want to drink, or do you want to go out and drink, or even people say, you're weird that you don't drink, or how boring, and all this type of stuff. And it's like, it might be boring, but it's completely, people that call me boring are just ignorant of how much I've actually thought about this and how much I actually understand about it, through experience, through using thinking, and through actually studying research. I've learnt about it, studying my HND, the negative impacts that it causes on physical health and stuff like that. And there's just no benefit to it whatsoever. And it's like I said, because of these reasons that I've laid down, there's absolutely no reason why I should drink alcohol, or why anybody should drink it, because the argument is very, very weak. So yeah, that's pretty much it. My name is Jason Atkin. This is my vlog. Thank you for watching. Like, subscribe if you want to see more videos in the future, and comment down below and let me know what you think about alcohol. I would love for you to try and give me one single benefit. I would love for you to comment and give me one single benefit to the consumption of alcohol if you're an alcohol consumer, and you will stump yourself because there isn't any. Right, I will see you later. Thank you for watching. Bye.